Good morning, everyone. It's game one of the newest tournament in the Z1R community. We're looking at the Dr. Blue versus Unknown Availability. I'm Fury SK. Joining me will be Norastra. Norastra, these flags can be a little bit brutal with the extra bosses. What would you do with all these extra bosses roaming, all these extra patches on the overworld and underworld and all this shenanigans?
Well thankfully, Fred has not figured out how to put the bosses on the overworld yet, because if he does that, I'm done.
Yeah, well, one can hope.
But no, with the extra bosses, I'm definitely considering looking for a sword early, looking for any sort of combat because combat is going to get you through this, and we are off.
Yeah, so trolling aside, quick rundown of the flags. It's similar to Consternation with a few caveats. You got the overworld blocks in play, so there will be either the White Sword or a dungeon blocked. There will be all the extra bosses, as I kind of noted in the lead in. Instead of having a mixed hint set, you have community hints. So, no sense in spending your money on those. And then there's no heart shuffle, so don't need to worry about the hearts either.
No, definitely, and getting a good look at the overworld here with the inroads, pretty decent inroads as availability. Oh, that's gonna be hard to say. We're gonna go with just unknown. It's found level 6.
Yeah, level 6, since the rehash of how dungeons are designed, kind of has become my least favorite dungeon to dig early because it lacks that. It, 7, 8, and 9 being together just kind of, it's seemingly tamed them out, except for level 8 sometimes goes a little bit wild, but from what I've seen, level nine's gotten smaller, level seven's gotten not nearly as bad as it once was, so
No,
6 I
definitely.
avoid.
Yeah, level 9, for those of you in the Z1R Discord last night, I was watching a seed and, we segmented 9. Like, that's something that's new.
Yeah, it's definitely more common than it used to be, as far as all the different linear paths you have to go, and find the magic bomb wall still happens, but it seems like there's only one or two possibilities that end up coming to fruition. Everything else just doesn't bomb. It looks like Dr. Blue's going to at least check in a couple rooms, but he's going to find the same issues: a boss that he can't kill for a little while, and a bunch of key doors.
Yeah, so in this type of flex at Fury, what item, are runners are right now looking for, the wood sword, the white sword item, and the armless item. What item would you hope to see under that armless item?
If it's not a weapon, I would rather it just be an any key, just because that opens up a lot of possibilities. If you had a second one, then maybe defense, but with all the early dungeons outside of level 2 being key blocked pretty easily, I find that to be the most helpful.
Yeah, definitely. The any key is definitely my favorite item to find early in a seed as well, the extra bosses flag, I'm not sure if it's definitely in play at this moment as far as causing trouble, but the bosses are causing trouble. As we've now seen 6 and 7, both of them with a boss blocking your pathway.
Finally, a smaller dungeon though, level 3. It's free Triforce, which you take, but you're kind of hoping to find that staircase inside that leads you to an item. So think he'll probably go back in, see if it's at least a free staircase that he can get to.
One of the things I've seen in the practice seeds with this flag set is hello, Dick Dogger, um, is that we do tend to find a little bit more wood sword, no heart container situation, or limited heart container situation headed into level 9. So we'll see how this plays out, if the heart containers are just kind of hanging out on in the path, or if they're out of the way, or if it'll even matter at all.
Well, at least we won't have to worry about the red ring being on the under the Armos, as it's in level 3, and if you can clip into a diamond staircase, it's easy enough to get to without a weapon, as Dr. Blue has grabbed it. And that's perhaps going to be a bit of a struggle for Unknown. He said he picked up this game in the last couple weeks and has just kind of thrown himself into the fire. So we'll see if he's got that sorted out yet, or if he has to go get his sword before he gets in there.
Yeah, and the red ring immediately coming into play here with this level 2 entrance being just hot garbage.
Yeah, he's not getting out of there. He's just give up and go back to start. Since you got the red ring, it's not too hard to get back to that screen if you need to later.
Well, he had already gotten it. It was the letter, so he would not have gotten it without the red ring. Now they were sniping.
Yeah. Dark Nuts on the Overworld, I think, is my favorite. I think it's better even than Wiz Robes to me, just because the blue Dark Nuts seem to troll me in directional changes.
I mean, don't get me wrong, if I can get blue dark nuts and wizards on the overworld, yes, it's going to be awful, but I'm going to go stay in the dungeons. I just wait until Fred figures out how to switch to make it to where either red or blue are separate from each other, and then we're all in trouble.
A lot of money for the large secret for 109 being large secret. That's basically 327 in your pocket if you can find all three of them. So not going to
Definitely.
be any sort of shortage.
And 37 for the medium secrets. Not bad either. It's going to be resources are not going to be a challenge. As we've got a raft hanging out on the coast. That was a flag we didn't really discuss yet, but of the three main unlockable items, the recorder, the raft, and the power bracelet, one dungeon will be located under one of those items.
The caveat being white sword item can qualify it. So if you have a white sword item that happens to be seemingly useless as far as progression goes, you can get away with a bit of a jet seed, but we found one of those three items in the dungeon just now.
And that's arguably the best one in this because we are on a first quest overworld. The power bracelet giving you the most overworld locations to check versus the recorders one and the rafts two. So power bracelets what you want to see early.
Yep, I think as a runner, I would still qualify the recorder just for the multiple utility it offers. It can transport you around to beaten dungeons. It can allow you to beat rooms with dig doggers in them, and it does still uncover one spot on the overworld first quest.
Right. No, don't get me wrong. I'd love to have the recorder, but if I had to choose one of the three to get early, it's that one. And oh, okay.
Yeah,
Let's throw the latter in the sword too, because why not?
a bit of wishful thinking there for unknown that he can get it on three, but at least he knows that the ladder will be the white sword item, so he can get his raft if he gets a couple of heart containers and checks it out.
It does look like our Armos item is going to be up in the Death Mountain area, as we've seen all the other Armos screens. So our runners will make their way up there eventually.
Yeah, from just a glance, doesn't look like a note availability is screen scrolling too much, so he'll have to take the long walk around through the grave if he wants to go up that direction. At least the sword's not up at that white sword cave, though, that had all those Lionels. Looks like it's at the vanilla letter shop, so.
Yeah, it's the vanilla letter shop. That's a good spot for it. But don't hate finding that. Unknown has found level 8 for us in the forest there. As Dr. Blue's got us a level 2.
Yep, and that was at the Lost Hills Power Bracelet spot. So this is the one that will qualify it at least. Ooh, that's a fun room to get shuttered into.
I've seen worse, but yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, if you didn't have beams, it would almost be a give up, but they will drop bombs, and it looks like that's going to be required to open up some sort of wall to get through this. Probably to the right above.
Yeah, it looks to be that way. Um, the only killer part about level 2, oh, and there's the book. So we found our items in level 2.
Yep, as you'll note, it gave him a full map, so it's a very useful item to find early.
That is a relatively large level 2, honestly. Oh. Yeah, no, we're done here.
I think it would be pretty commonplace to see runners kind of leave dungeons and come back to them, just because once you find the item, if you feel underpowered, you don't want to be there for very long. Wonder if Dr. Blue is going to sort of route through the forgotten spot and head that direction. Now that he's going up to the level 1 and going up past Candle Row. Although with the candle in hand, he may head back down. Yeah, he's going to head
Yeah,
back
I
down.
think you go back down with the candle. If you didn't get the candle, you go up, I think. There's less bomb requirements. So he may decide to go back up. And okay. I don't necessarily hate the decision. Yeah, I do think at this point the Armos item is almost more important than the overworld exploration. Just knowing what it is. Oh, well, we have a forgotten level 1.
Yeah, that may take precedence over the Armos item suddenly, although keys will be a bit of an issue. Level 1's kind of known for having a lot of doors rather than the bomb walls, but a lot of them have keys.
Oh, and there's that recorder we were talking about, just hanging out on the floor.
Yep, so all overworld blocks are going to be taken care of in fairly short order, as now that Dr. Blue has his candle, he'll see the ladder so he can get the raft on the coast. So he'll get all three of them probably within the first half hour here. And I bet you he's rooting for the Innie key to be at the Armos spot here, just because of all the key doors in level 1. That seems to be the most useful item he could find.
I mean, I'm gonna take the wand. Don't get me wrong. I'm quite okay with the wand here. It is gonna shoot fire for Doctor Blue here with the book, but in this situation, yeah, I'm okay with this.
And
Yeah,
there's level 9 under the
nice
power
level
brace spot.
9.
Yeah, it used to be that 9s wouldn't uh, be that small, but again, 7, 8, and 9 now share the grid as opposed to 7 and 8 sharing a grid and 9 having its own 64 block. So 9 has to kind of give way to some of the smaller dungeons in 7 and 8 in comparison to it at least. And so we've seen the room drop off from an average probably closer to 57 or 58 all the way down into the low 50s.
Still no less annoying. And nice fire strat there from Dr. Blue. Launched the wand, bopped the fire, and dodged the P hat.
Yeah, I didn't see what was on the pathway up into the northeast corner, but it must be something a little bit nasty since Unknown's been kind of reluctant to head that way at this point.
Yeah, based on the overworld, it's gonna be Lionel's. It's gotta that's gotta be the deciding factor. The dark nuts are relatively easy to avoid, I'll say.
Yeah, the blues are quite annoying. The reds aren't so bad, but at least they don't fire stuff at you. It's like nothing really important at Recorder Lake, but Dr. Blue already knows of two dungeons that are blocked, so he knows that he doesn't really have to be too concerned with finding a third or even a fourth. Kind of uncommon with only 7 spots available on the overworld to do that.
And taking a quick look, I think the only dungeon we're missing is level 5.
Yep, that is correct. Given the coverage, probably Deadwoods or just there.
There's a good spot for it.
So the corner of Candle Row has level 5. I would suggest kind of looking around in there, but I guess he really wanted to look to see what this bush would have. But yeah, Lionel Beams say no again. So back to start. We'll see if he goes northeast this time or if he tries to get back to level 5. I think he's probably just going to go up north here.
Yeah, so at this point, we kind of know quite a bit about this seed.
Yep, basically just need bow and silver location and you're set.
Unfortunately, they're going to be in the worst dungeons because we don't have items out of 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Which the bow can't be in 9, but the silvers can be anywhere.
Here's a Dig Dogger with it being so weak. I was gonna say you could almost just kinetic key that if you really wanted to get creative. Weak Dig Dogger plus wand and wood sword plus being able just to have one in the room as opposed to 3 roaming around. A small chance to pull that off.
No, absolutely. Our big problem now looks to be keys. It's going to be who can find some keys and get some action here.
I would offer up that with money being so generous with no hints, and especially in Dr. Blue's situation with the red ring, that would be probably number one on the list of things I buy, even if it's the more expensive key shop.
I absolutely agree with you there. At this point, we've seen level 1, level 5, and I want to say level 3 all have heavy key blocks. So I think the key purchase is definitely the right call here.
At 223 rupees, unknown availability, we'll pick up that wood arrow, which is also a decent purchase to make because you could have Goma blocks, and if silvers are a 9, you need them. And that's why he was not going down on the starting screen. Blue Lionel plus blue Dark Nuts just kind of blocking your way.
Yeah, that screen's always a an adventure when it's got some of the beefier enemies.
looks like he gets right back up to almost blue ring territory. So right away has a chance to potentially go get that. And in his situation with this overworld, if he finds one of those shops, it's probably worthwhile just to go ahead and farm out the handful of
Absolutely.
rupees.
Did you see this level 6? It's Mushu.
Yeah, this is a thing that exists. And it's got a Triforce right away, so that's giving Dr. Blue the idea to probably just leave it behind and come back later.
You have to go back in and fight that or that Gliok because it's gonna respawn.
Yeah, but at least you got Red Ring and triple damage with
Yeah, no,
water
that's
plus wood.
yeah, that's a level 6 where I'm thinking, I'm gonna go anywhere but this.
I guess I had the wrong Armos. It looks like it's apparently the Desert Armos that level 2 is located at, so same difference in the end though. You've got a silly little room here that you got to get through. It's actually required to get through these whiz ropes like this. That's actually really nasty.
Yeah, that's rude.
And Dr. Blue now realizes that I think it's a situation where you're just going to have to find a way to farm bombs. There is a little bit of a tactic. It takes a little bit of work to pull off, but it's doable. Also, you can come in from the top side here. I just realized that if you clear this room from this top side and go all the way around, it will open up the shutter because you have 6 rooms of leeway. If you didn't have this option available, you could clip into the block. If you're inside the pathway, you can clip up by going to the left and clipping up into the block. And they shouldn't, in theory, spawn on that whole line of blocks. They look for an open tile for the most part. So you can bait them into spawning just above or below you and kind of walk into them and get 3 or 4 sword swings off and potentially kill them. This 8 doesn't look a ton better than the level 6 we just saw, by the way.
No, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's awful. It's also Mushu evolved. It's not dragon.
And it's giving you that trap of a Triforce 3 rooms in or so. In this scenario, I think Dr. Blue should probably just go around the overworld, try and kill some of these blue Lionels, red Dark Nuts, blue Octoroks, get himself a bomb count going, and see if he can't open up some walls, maybe to a key shop on the overworld or something along those lines.
And I don't believe he's seen the ladder screen either. Yeah, these dungeons are awful.
Yeah, but the sizing of the 7 and 8 tells you why 9 has a big chunk missing out in the northeast
A-
corner.
Absolutely.
He gets matumboed by the Aqua Menace before getting in, getting the very vanilla red candle.
Is this even?
Worth noting that this will potentially drop something in the corner as well, so worth killing the poor Aqua Menace and it's gone. Revenge extracted. Exacted.
Yeah, don't worry. The Wizrobes are looking for the revenge too, though.
Hey, the
I
rarest
believe,
resource in the game, a key.
I believe this is our first key sighting in the seed.
We go 2 for 2 with the drop in the reverse C room. Nope. Worth noting that Unknown Availability did get his blue ring purchased, and it allowed him to get to that level 2 screen with that kind of, well, just plain awful screen below it.
Yeah, that's a lot of garbage.
The great thing about that early red candle in 7, though, is now that you don't have to come back to this dungeon if you can manage to find a Triforce pretty quick.
Yeah, it's right now. It's get the Triforce and get out of here.
Looks like it's a little bit further in, but uh, at least you know where it is already as well.
I think the one thing, and then there it is, the key door requirement.
Any non, uh, you can bomb up here, I think, because there's a key, so maybe you can get around still. Nope, nope, just key block. And a wood sword for unknown availability, so good on him for getting on his feet and getting the wood sword now with that blue ring in hand.
Yeah, it's not the prettiest location to get up to get it if there's pretty much anything in your way.
And yeah, at 255 rupees for Dr. Blue, I'm basically buying my way down to 0 rupees. Even though bait block could be required, even if wood arrows are required. Plenty of ways to farm your money back up with the medium secrets. Just please keys.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go buy multiple keys if I find the small key or the cheap key shop. Yeah, I'm gonna buy 4 or 5 if I can afford it. Might even go back and pick up some of these secrets and go back and buy more keys. The way this the seed's been.
I think Dr. Blue is simply on the hunt for the key shop at this point, and potentially the White Sword location, since he doesn't know potentially where the ladder is yet. But I would bet it's just straight keys actually at the moment for him. Just again, that's blocking every single dungeon that he's entered at this point, save for I guess level 2, which has that nasty route in it. Looks like Dr. Blue is Death Mountain bound, trying to find the ski shop. And unknown availability will take the Triforce out of 8 because there's no real progression there. No map on his end since he hasn't found the book of 2, but uh, just know where you can go since you don't have the resources. And we know that there's no walls that you can bomb through even. So he's gonna hope that this is a staircase, but since remove open stairs I think is off, the rupee will negate any chance of this being a staircase room. Yeah, with silvers potentially being locked in 9 and extra bosses, there's a non-zero chance that Goma or 8 Pull's voice will be in your way at some point.
Definitely. Nice little HUD clip there by Dr. Blue.
Yeah, while not necessary in the game, it's definitely a useful thing to learn since, specifically, I think in that northeast corner, if the vanilla potion shop is guarded by a lot of shenanigans, it's a nice thing to have in your arsenal. But
I think that's one of the tricks that I've yet to master, but I've envied those who can do it.
yeah, we just saw him also ladder clip off of the coast spot as well. So another trick you can do there is it'll take you over to the screen if you screen wrap through there and shortcut to the dungeon. He already has the dungeon item, so unless that Triforce is off in the one off in, say, right hand staircase room, it's not going to be necessary to go over there. Looks like he's going to set up for a Canana key, but it's a push block. Nothing you can do there.
Yeah, the unfortunate push block um, scenario gets you every time.
In theory, you can actually even. We just bombed this wall. We didn't know if it would work, but if you bomb that wall in the right spot, which is kind of north of the bomb wall and as far out as you can get, you can make it all the way to the door. It just takes a lot of coordination. I don't pull that off too often.
It's one of those tricks you will not see very often, but when you do, it's a sight to behold.
It's easier to do if you're looking at something on the side of the room, especially if it's a push block. If it's on the left side there, and you handle the push block and you kind of run into it as you're pushing it, it'll send you back and off you go to the command key.
Yeah, the other one that you'll see maybe a little bit more frequently is the candle one. Burn yourself to pop the door.
Yeah, we'll see if he decides to go in further here. I mean, oh, he's gonna check the one off. That's a good idea. I was gonna say I'm not sure if I'd burn my one and only key in here. I'd probably go back to one or save it and then go back to one probably. So if one doesn't pay off with the second item, I could just bail with a retry and keep it. And he gets a second key for his
Get a second
trouble.
key. Yeah, not a bad deal there. I might spend that second key here, but I definitely wouldn't spend my only key.
Yeah, with its proximity to start being a little bit further away, you go ahead and spend it. If it was real close to start, you'd even save it now and come back in.
Getting rewarded for spending that key with a heart container, which let's be honest, we may not see many more in this.
Well, with the fairy fountain right above level 2 with that Wizrobe path, you could go ahead and just kind of brute force your way through that path now with the red ring and 8 hearts, and if you fill them up.
Absolutely. And the one key getting him the Triforce, so well worth the spending there.
And it looks like he's probably key hunting slash item hunting in this level 6. I think, yeah, that's not a path we can take. So we just refight this guy or just brute force our way through. He just realized he had those. I bet you he didn't realize he had the ladder. He could get around that a little bit easier until he
Yeah.
got pushed out.
Oh, we may have a big block.
Well, it's not going to block Triforce, but it could block an item. That would be spicy. Big blocks are always a fan favorite.
I think my favorite still is the bait block right in front of Zelda at the end of the race.
Yeah, I think I saw one in the 2019, I think it was Liquid Husband's race where he got to the very end and the bait was impeding his progress. I think we saw another one in the random percent tournament, but I can't place who was running it.
I know I've done a couple of these, and I had a dig dogger blocking Zelda in the room right before the shutter door opens. And that's when you cry and go find the recorder.
Alright, looks like the bait is going to be hard required to get up into that little tail of level 6. We still don't know if there's going to be anything up there or if the item's going to be over in this direction, but the transport takes you to the right. Looks like Unknown Availability is going to try and block lip. He does have the sword, and there's only one keys left, so while it's good to practice it, I guess just go ahead and kill that keys and see what you can get in there.
And the Keys obliges.
Yeah, and while kind of sad that he bought the blue ring at this point, probably red ring with the overworld, I don't think he's going to complain too much.
No, I believe one of our runners in this tournament, Redbird, would say, "I will buy the blue to get the red. I will buy the arrows to get the silver, any day of the week." So I don't hate seeing that even after purchasing it.
Yep, lots of runners coming out of semi-retirement to come back to the randomizer. You just never can get away fully. I, I can't think of too many runners that have just disappeared and not come back at this point.
No, definitely the list as we were doing the first round pairings last night was absolutely chocked full of names. You've got JSR who's joining us here in chat. You've got you. Uh, we've got the likes of Lack Attack, um, and many more that I'm forgetting. We've got just names coming out of the woodwork for this tournament.
Yeah, we made it to just shy of 80 for this one, so good turnout as usual. Looks
Not
like
such a
Doctor.
good tournament is those blue land molas. No one likes those.
Looks like Doctor Blue has taken his uh, significant amount of resources and gone ahead and saved, which makes sense to me. You get 3 keys and a whole bunch of bombs. It's worth kind of saving all your resources up and coming back to 6 later. And unsurprisingly, looks like he's making that beeline back to level 1 here with his 3 keys in hand. Second item with very few rooms involved, even if it's segmented. And I think Unknown's going to get his second Triforce, or is he going to go ahead and try and find a heart container to get that ladder? Looks like he's going to see if he can't find a room to give him that heart container he's looking for. A little bit surprising, actually, that he's just snoping that heart container in level 1 staircase.
Yeah, I mean, with the current setup of hearts that he's got, it would put him pretty close to mag's range. I might consider picking that one up in this case, but yeah, if you're comfortable wood sword Ganon, go for it.
Yeah, me personally, even though I'm fairly confident in my Ganon abilities with the wood sword, with the Wizrobes being in all over the place in these dungeons so far, wouldn't mind the extra speed in clearing.
And an extra hearts, an extra, quite a few hits with the red ring. It's not a horrible thing to pick up, but yeah, you never know. At this point, may just be wanting to get the Triforce and go.
So in unknown availability shoes, I think if you know that your Armos location now is the grave spot, you probably want to make the trek over there, especially with Red Ring in hand, just because it'll give you knowledge of what's over there. In this case, it would actually even speed him up in some of these dungeons as well with the wand.
Absolutely. I personally, when running pretty much any set of flags that I've done with this, I like to have the Armos item within 15 minutes. That's my goal. Wood sword, Armos item, one of those two within 15 minutes, depending on how rude the overworld is. More than anything, just for it's a free item. If it's the any key, all of your key troubles go away. If it's the wand, it's one less thing to worry about. If it's the white sword, I don't care about the wood sword cave anymore.
Yep, and even if it's a heart container in this case, with knowledge of the white sword item being a ladder,
No,
you'll take it.
absolutely, definitely.
Dr. Blue's, yeah, here comes the save. I think he's probably going to go into level 2 now. Didn't want to burn his keys. And here we go. Let's see if he gets through this room. I bet you he can get through with 5 heart left in his kitty. Oh, they're
Yeah,
plus 2.
yeah, the red wizards don't care about your plan.
Oh, they do drop hearts. And
Yes,
he's
they
gotten it
drop
down
your
to 1.
hearts.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I believe he knew this room was here too. I personally, with 9 bombs, would have gone to the north of this room, or to the north of that shoot room, and fought him with the sword, and then come in here and used my 9 bombs in here.
Well, I now understand why the bomb upgrade was purchased. I
I,
didn't know this room was here. I wasn't even paying attention to this earlier.
yeah, he poked his head in here and immediately up aid. So yeah, I would have definitely considered saving those bombs and coming in here and fighting this. Your rewards the map.
Yeah,
Funny
just
game.
really hoping to find that Triforce immediately now.
I
Keys,
don't, yeah, he may want to actually find some keys, and there's the other bomb upgrade. So
yeah, we got exactly what he deserved for that high price and only 3 bombs. Would have taken it if he had the rupees, I bet, but
oh, absolutely would have taken it, but also the spite of you put the bomb upgrade after that room.
yeah, I'll go spend all my money on keys in the overworld. Just give me the Triforce and let me get away from potentially getting locked back into this room.
Take
Yep,
me the Triforce
Triforce.
right there.
Oh, he's gonna look for keys.
Not a bad choice. I don't hate going 1 or 2 rooms. The only problem is if you get locked into a room with a Goma that you can't get back out of, those blue wizards will be waiting for you.
After the Wallmaster room, he's going back up though. Ideas of potentially getting grabbed and sent back to start and having to do that again changed
Yeah,
his
no, no.
thought
Yeah.
process.
I'm done here. Seen enough. Get me out. All right. So based on what we've got left, we haven't seen the item out of 5. We haven't seen the item. I don't believe we saw anything out of 8 either. Did we?
No, just lots of key issues in some of the dungeons. 8 had that
Yeah.
one key door in that pathway.
And we're fairly sure the item in 6 is probably behind that bait block. So we're kind of running out of areas for the bow to be. It's gotta kind of fall into that 5, 6, and 8 spot. And silvers can be in 5, 6, 8, and 9.
If I were Dr. Blue, I would go to 5, clear to the item. If it's the bow, go ahead and take my try out of 7 if I can get to it, and head to 9 and see if it's there. Or at least see what the enemy
Yeah.
set in 9 is and make a decision at that point.
I don't hate that plan. That's one of those where, I would rather explore the least awful dungeon of the 3 and the one that's got the most items. So yeah, if I stumble in the bow here in 5, or if I stumble into it quickly in 8, I'm going to 9. Get my Triforces and go to 9.
It looks like bomb is required. The old man is blocking the entire top half, so you have to go down and potentially take a staircase if you need to get up there. And yeah, as noted, there are a handful of rooms that were left unchecked at level 6, so that is I mean, as far as the non-bait blocked rooms go, there was at least a
Yeah.
handful in the top right, but I believe they were blocked by, I would guess, keys. If I remember correctly, there were
Most
some
likely.
doors.
I think though in this case, if you're going to go back into 6 at any point, you're buying the bait and going back into 6 so that you don't have to leave again. That's my thought. If I'm Dr. Blue at this point, I'm going to go find the bait, go into 6, and not come out until I've gotten what I want.
Yeah, and I do like this play now that unknown availability is making. He's going in through the uh, maze in the dead woods and going up through the graveyard and heading towards that Armos.
Doing a little bit of gambling and winning. That's a rare take for us in this. We don't win a lot in the gambling, but when we do, it's always nice.
Always nice to look and see what those numbers are too. I've seen that
Oh,
70
absolutely.
pop up before.
And if you find one close to start, there's always the opportunity to try to save and manipulate and or save and play the game a bunch until you get what you need.
Yeah, there will be, everybody will have at least one seed in this tournament pretty much where you're going to have that roll of small, medium, and large secrets that goes something like 5, 27, and 60 or less.
Yeah, it's always
What
fun.
And when that happens, you have to have some sort of game plan for how you're going to get money if you need wood arrows and bait and potentially keys or bombs. I
Yeah,
mean,
and the way that'll
you can
and
farm bombs, but
yeah. And the way that'll work too is the bait, the wood arrows, and the bombs will all roll max too, because it's like you just can't have a nice thing in this seed. And Unknown's going to get the wand, be very happy, and probably get away from these Armos because they are angry.
yeah, it took a couple of swings at him just for a good measure, but now has 3 damage that he can deal out to any non whiz robe. So it's a nice thing to have.
Dr. Blue probably regretting not picking that heart up out of one now, finding the floor heart in 5. Mags would definitely be on the table at this point. And they're not in a horrible spot. They're right next to level 6. He's going to have to go back into that area potentially for an item, and it's pretty close to start.
Yep. And we see that the potion prices are not too terrible. Both the blue and red potion are a little bit down, so definitely something that you can get. And I do think a lot of new runners would benefit by kind of following the Dr. J PhD strategy in this tournament, which is you go in and you say, all right, I'm going to try and find all the defense and offense I can find. I'm going to load up with potions. I'm going to make sure I have as many heart containers out of dungeons as I can get. And if people beat me, so be it, but at least I'll be super prepared and I can get through it all.
No, absolutely. And and to all the runners, definitely recommend, even if you're facing whoever, it doesn't matter. Finish your seed. Don't look for the dot. Finish your seed. You'll learn something. And then go back and watch it. Go back and if you don't have a restream, go put the races side by side and watch. See what your opponent did. If you've got commentary such as Fury here, listen to their suggestions. Fury's a fantastic person. I've learned so much from Fury, covering my races in the past. Doctor's going to get the Triforce out of here, and we're going to keep going.
Yeah, he's explored this top segment and everything else was blocked by the old man below, so he's going to go back in now that he's cleared those 4 rooms up top and see if he can't find that item. And the seed was quite unfortunate. It put all the Taken ones for the most part out of immediate reach, whether they be in Death Mountain or potentially underneath some sort of overworld block, maybe a raft spot or two. So Unknown's been stuck here with 3 hearts for the entirety of this seed. Uh, Not really through any fault of his own, just the way it kind of rolled out.
No, and not much progress is available to you in the seed if you cannot find a key or force a key to open. So knowing some of these tricks, the Kanana key, knowing how to manipulate your keys a little bit with the save strategies, definitely some strategies that can absolutely change the outcome of some of these races.
And our item in 5 is silver, so good news, bad news with that find. Good news is you don't have to dig 9. Bad news, you're going to have to dig a big dungeon.
You're digging 6 or 8 at this point, and Doctor Blue's not happy about either one of those situations.
Important items defeats the grand scheme of bow and 9, but if you happen to play a tournament that has that flag set on, shenanigans can certainly cause that to happen.
And I do believe Doctor Blue here is going to go grab that. I'm not sure what he's looking for in here. I think he may be coming back to get the heart container. Not sure why he spent that key there, but unless he's mismarked something.
Fairly certain that he's forgotten that he got the recorder 1 room in early on.
I
That would be
that would be a fair. I think though, if I'm here at this point, I've made the commitment in here. I'm gonna grab this heart container where I'm at and go off to check the mags.
it's going to be quite sad.
It was a very
Go ahead.
fast pickup, so I understand his he could easily mismark it because he ran over it and I barely saw it.
Yeah, when he realizes he's going to end up having to clear all these rooms, which means keys are going to be lost in this process. He's going to be a little bit annoyed, I think, when he realizes that he's actually got the recorder out of here.
Yeah, he'll be scratching his head for a little while trying to figure out what happened. I've seen this happen. Level 2 is the worst offender of this. Level 1 as well, where you've got the item on the floor. Oh, yep. That should tip him off that he's got all the items now. But definitely with this heart pickup, I would go back and grab that heart out of there just to ensure the likelihood of grabbing mags right next to start. Especially if you're gonna have to go into 6 to look for the bow.
Yep, Unknown now finds that recorder in 1 room in, and key doors abound. So, uh, hoping that something will push so he can get away from these key doors.
Yeah, at this
Good
point, you're
effort,
just
but no.
at this point, you're just frustrated that you keep seeing key doors. That's all you can say at that point is, "Oh, look, another key door."
Very likely at this point that the any key is locked away in level 9. Chances are
Uh,
high, at least.
yeah, the likelihood of that is, um,
66.
yeah,
Bow
and
being required out.
yeah, and we're gonna get, Doctor Blue gonna go ahead and get his last Triforce. Keeps forgetting that he's got the item out of 7.
Yeah, to answer the question in chat, there was only one Take Any one that was fairly free to the runners on the overworld. Um, add that to dungeon hearts being somewhat key blocked and unknown availability, having played this game for all of 2 weeks, and you kind of get the perfect storm of just not getting lucky enough to have any hearts.
Yeah, and this flag set alone leads to lower health. Dr. Blue obviously proving me wrong, but they are they tend to be without the heart shuffle on. You're not necessarily looking for floor drops in any dungeons, so you're going to kill less rooms because you don't have to. So if the heart's free on the floor, you're going to pick it up. Otherwise, you're probably not going to stumble into it.
Looks like we got a weird format in this 7 where either I don't know if it's a key door that's also impeding his progress or if you have to go left down this little line and go through a staircase.
Yeah, this 7 is funky.
Yeah, it's hard block. So yeah, just it's split into two, and you have to find a staircase, and you have to potentially go through this blue wizard room that he cleared with a wall master for a staircase, which could be right here.
Feed the dinosaurs. Yeah, and level 6 showing all the frustrations that these runners have started with the pretty much every dungeon was a here's a bunch of key doors with a boss. Enjoy and well, enjoy that boss too.
Yeah, another blue wizard room. You're begging this wall to bomb, begging it to bomb, and of course, no.
It's not going to bomb. You know this. You're begging it to bomb only because you know it's not.
And Dr. Blue's taking it a bit more of an aggressive line to this room. You can
Yeah,
kind of hide away in the bottom doorway,
yeah.
and that'll give you a little bit of safety.
Unfortunately, it looks like he is. Oh, and that is not going to end well.
Well, it might.
He's getting away from here, but yeah, it's just with the shooters, this room's really hard to be aggressive in.
He's going to get real close. We'll see if he can survive this last Wizrobe. The trouble is the Wizrobe will occasionally do that little warp, and if he does it at the wrong time here, he's gone.
Nice kill. Let's hope for no more wizards.
Yeah, you go ahead and wand these Stalfos down and these Gibdos, and you hope for a heart to drop on the ground. There you are. We have
At,
one.
at this point, you're hoping the Triforce is free on the floor.
I mean, it could be worse.
And this is relatively free. For the most part, the shooters will not shoot you if you stand in the middle, and you can kind of cheese the wizards into spawning into a nice pattern for you.
No drops at all from them. Stingy.
I just got one left, and oh, a bomb pack on the way out. Not bad.
This
And
is not the most friendly seed for a newer runner, though.
it's not
Being
the
all
most
these
friendly.
wizards.
It's not even a friendly seed for experienced runners. Like it's a salty seed. There's only so much block clipping and screen scrolling will do for you when you have to face off with four-headed Gleeok after three-headed Gleeok after Dig Dogger after. It's just it's a murder's row here.
So the play now that Dr. Blue has to make is 6 or 8. I'm going to guess 8's probably first up on the agenda just because bait block could be blocking you.
Yeah, I think eight's the right call here. Well, it's going back into seven. Not I think he misrecorded. Yeah, I think you go into eight here. It's got two items that we don't know what they are, and I don't. Oh, he's going to go into 6. Okay.
Did he buy the bait? No, he did not buy the bait. So he's going to hope to go. Nope, he's
No,
going to bail.
he's gonna call it and go somewhere else.
Probably to a bait shop or to
Yeah.
8.
Oh, he's not headed to 8, so he's definitely headed to a bait shop.
The bottom 2 rooms in level 6 are blocked by the Goma. So you know that the bow's not there.
Also, a little surprised he hasn't gone one screen right. He may not know Mags is right there. I don't remember if he saw Mags or not, but the magical sword is sitting one screen to the right here. Yeah, I don't hate picking the bait up here and just running straight up and checking these rooms. It's a straight line. You know, the only way this is going to be a problem is keys. I don't believe wizards are in this dungeon at all, so this is a pretty clean walk. There's Goma.
At least it's a shutter door. Potential here. And always walk against the wall when you clear a room just to make sure.
Yeah, if nothing moves, check the wall, make sure there's no wall masters hanging out, and then oh, yeah, we may have some potential here, but it's got 4 heads and it's angry.
Thankfully, 11 hearts and 3 damage. And red ring.
So bait not required. Fun little sidetrack there though.
And I'm gonna guess there might be a Goma in the northeast too. I don't recall exactly what was blocking the way up there. I know it blocks 2 rooms.
So we're gonna go from Mushu to the dragon. And we'll take a look in this 8 and see if we can find whatever's hiding in here.
Yep. Well, 31 rooms left unchecked out of the 35 that I seem to see there, so it's got a lot of clearing potentially find these 2.
Yeah, the enemy set seems to be relatively nice though. We've got our lovely Hunger Urias here, which the red ones will drop us bombs, which we need, apparently.
Likely old man or Zelda room below. I always at least feel that way when it doesn't bomb like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, old man room.
Speaking of Zelda's room, uh,
Yeah,
or
that's
unknown.
unfortunate.
That's a lot of rooms checked, but if it's bow in there, oh, it was the key door, and here's the item. So hold on a sec.
Oh,
Oh,
white sword. That will definitely help.
and that cleans the tracker almost out, does it not? Very close to. We're missing one item in 8 from telling us that answer. We know the bow's in 8.
Bow is here.
You
And
know the
so
dream scenario is still in play.
double bananas in 9.
Yes, sir. The runners would take it because that means any key is an 8.
Absolutely. I think if you're Dr. Blue here, you're hoping that the first item you stumble into is the any key. As much as you want it to be the bow, 9, much like 1, can be a key trap. And if you go on an adventure looking for every room, you find yourself running out of keys very quickly.
It's a catch-22. I mean, you know that your runner has your opponent has said they're kind of new to the scene, but they don't have any races really on showcase for Z1R and any other race time or any other channel, so you don't actually know how much practice they put in. So you can't really just hope that they're slow enough to where you can go find the Iniki if you find the bow here first, I think.
No,
Just gotta
absolutely. If
go.
if you find the bow, you're going to 9. But if you find the any key first, you're not complaining.
Yeah, you're not gonna throw it away and say, I don't want this and keep going. He's also finding a lot of keys in here, so that's a little bit of a
Yeah.
bonus.
Yeah, and that may also help out in this situation of, okay, I don't know where the any key is. I need the bow. If I find the bow first, I would like to have some keys. So I'm going to clear rooms as I go through to hopefully pick some up. Love it when you have to clear every room at 8 to find the items. Oh, and there it is. There's the bow.
Yep, so we won't know where the Iniki or the Nanners are unless we see them on the way in 9 at this point. I don't think we'll ever go back to level 8 on Dr. Blue's side.
No, the only thing you might see Doctor Blue do, and that's now he's got a recorder. I'm still shocked that he hadn't just stuck his head in and seen what the magical sword is at. Um,
Was
More than
it
anything,
just,
yeah, it's just one screen right of 6.
yeah, he never burned it.
Yeah. So in that case, he may not know. And at this point, yeah, wouldn't care either.
You're fairly confident at this point that 5 keys plus a drop or 2 in level 9 will get you through most of it. So you're just kind of
Yeah.
hoping that it's not the Super Troll 9 that we tend to get these days.
And it looked fairly small and compact when we saw the map because Doctor Blue did come in here with the book earlier, so it's not going to be the gnarliest. But we do have that one room to the right of start that is ladder blocked. We know that that's segmented off. Not that it'll have anything important in there, but it might be holding your compass. It might be holding, some resources that you'd like. But more than anything, it's a trap.
Uh, to answer the question in chat, the 2 items missing pre 9 were both an 8. So we had all the other items known. The 2 items in 9 can't be the bow because important items in 9 is off. So by process of elimination, the bow had to be there, and we just don't know what the second item is. So that's how we knew where the bow was with 4 items missing, because we are down to 2 dungeons, 1 dungeon it couldn't be located in. So won't be able to hear the roar this time, but you can kind of tell where the roar is at times based on the movement of the runners.
Absolutely. So, Fury, we are in 9. You've done this plenty of times. You've got 5 keys. You know keys have been a problem this entire seed. What's your strategy in this situation? You don't necessarily have to take staircases for items because we've got what we need. how are you going to go through this 9 if you're running the seed?
Still taking staircases. Just outright, if I find a staircase, I still take it. Uh, for no other reason than the fact that I feel like nines these days have been super, super segmented. Whether or not they segment to Zelda or Ganon's location, or they just segment into one-off rooms, I'd rather just know where everything goes. That's just me on that strategy. I wouldn't worry too much about resources. I prefer just to kind of turn and burn through and see if I can't get lucky with an early enough situation as we find the magic boomerang in 9, so we're halfway to the dream.
There's half of it. Some will say the better half, some will say the worse half. I'm going to stay impartial on that fight.
It's the first race of the tournament. I'll spare the memes. I am hopeful we see the other half in here,
I
though.
absolutely want to see the other half in here.
And Unknown's getting that glorious Wizrobe room in level 2. Does not know what awaits him. He sees the heart, though. He wants the heart container.
Frustration at this point. It's like, really? It's right there.
Oh, I guess didn't want to go down. Oh, go down, yeah.
Yeah, keys in this 9 not being a problem apparently, as I think Dr. Blue's come has found more keys than he's used.
Yeah, the debate in chat about the best boomerang being the one you find or don't find. Uh, I do tend to agree that if you find a boomerang of any color underneath an Armos, you're taking it at the start of the seed, no matter what.
No, absolutely. It's one of those things where, all memes aside, in a tournament you want to win, whether you're team yellow, team blue, if you see it early, you're going to grab it more than anything, especially like not necessarily this particular overworld where we had dark nuts, but anytime you've got dark nuts and wizrobes in the underworld, the boomerang is basically free travel in the overworld. Stun everything and just walk through it.
Unknown's going to clear this room and go back through below, get his heart container, he'll be happy, and then he'll walk into the next room and be really sad.
Yeah, that might be the breaking point on this one. You walk back into that, you finish all this, you're like, okay, we're, oh man.
I don't know, I would just laugh at that point. Just why?
Yeah. You laugh. You're disappointed. You're sad, but you're laughing.
And here comes the moment of realization as we find Ganon in the bottom left corner of 9. And a little bit off-centered, but once you get that first hit in, it's either the bottom left one tile away or bottom right one tile away. It's just a 50-50 based on the stance he's giving you. So that's why you see Dr. Blue constantly going to the right and trying to sword swipe. He's gone left pretty much every time except for one. It looks like Unknown's going to try and double potion through this nasty room.
I mean, that's not a bad call here with four hearts, blue ring. You really don't want to. You haven't had much luck with the overworld, much luck with the seed in general, but he's got to be careful now.
Picked up the map, which is not so useful. It's super map. Triforce, you want to get that wand out. Even without keys, you definitely want to just get that and not have to do this again.
Yeah, you're pretty done with this two at this point. Give me give me the Triforce. I'm out.
Yep, it's safety stratting here, just making absolutely sure you don't get killed. He got the bombs and the Triforce, which is what he's going for.
Dr. Blue getting a nice fairy drop. Help him out in this situation.
Looks like he's got a little bit of the timing down this time on the stun lock. I did not see a shutter door that didn't open. Oh, we did find Zelda. Never mind. Now we're reading chat. Looks like it might be up here, and game set and match. Dr. Blue wins the first race of the Zelda 1 Randomizer 2022 tournament.
Absolutely. And Unknown is going to go ahead and forfeit out here. And I understand why at this point. 4 Triforces, 4 hearts, kind of just getting beat up by the seed. Let's see if we can get both of these runners in here to have a quick chat before we send you off to additional programming on Speed Gaming.
Yep. Plenty of options definitely on the Speed Gaming Network today too. Got some multi-world, some Super Metroid, Link to the Past Rando, and Smash Brothers on the main channel, so
Yeah, and then later tonight you'll also have the final Z1R Weekly for a little while as we do a little bit of we continue our showcase of these tournament flags that will be hosted tonight as well by Speed Gaming. Do have unknown availability here. We're gonna get them in here. We'll see what they have to say about their first tournament seed here. Well, welcome, unknown.
Hello.
GG's.
Yeah, thank you.
For your first tournament race, go ahead and give us your thoughts.
So I jumped right in. I've only been playing this maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. I've beat maybe 5 seeds total. But I've messed around and tried to learn movement and things like that, and really have pushed myself to learn this very fast. And even though I got beat massively in this against Dr. Blue, which they did a great time, I'm not upset. I think I actually did pretty well for not knowing the game that much. I spent way too much time in 6, even though I got the sword out of that. I was spending so much time going around in 6. I found that heart that was locked behind a ladder, in which I need hearts to get the ladder. So I'm like frustrated behind that. I'm like trying to just find life, health, to not die to stuff. And then I found Red Ring, which was great, but at the same time, if you're gonna have to tank stuff, you only have so many hits. So yeah, not bad at all. These are harder flags than I think any beginner should do, but I've played Zelda games for a very long time. I'm a long-term member of the Link to the Past community, and I've personally watched our own Fred Coughlin play this a lot. And I've watched Willard J. Bradley play this a lot too. So I've kind of like indoctrinated myself to learn the game without playing it.
Yeah, and you did a fantastic job. Don't get me wrong. The results not necessarily showing it here, but you persevered through a lot of garbage. This was not a friendly seed. Even the Dr. Blue, who we have joining us either. That level 2, I know both of you killed that red wizard broom, walked through the chute, opened the door, and I'm pretty certain both of you were cursing at that point.
Oh, stabbing myself in the heart with a knife, man. I'm just like, ugh.
one thing I didn't ask for in a seed or one thing I did ask for rather, was no 8 blue Wizard rooms. There were 2 of them.
Well, welcome to 8 blue Wizard rooms in this one, right? Oh man, yeah, good lord.
I thought
I don't think
fine.
Unknown got to that level 7 8 blue Wizard room either,
No.
whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't think I did. No, I tried going into 7 a couple of times, and I think I got blocked by Bo. Was it? I think
Keys.
I needed Bo. Keys too. Wait. Oh my lord.
4 dungeons I walked out because key blocked, and I kept finding the Triforce within the first few rooms, which is great, except you need items to finish the game, so you can't just abandon all the dungeons like that. I was like,
Right.
oh, key door. I tried to Kinana key once and failed because I realized it was push block. It's just like, you needed the keys, and magical key was somewhere. I don't know where it ended up being, but I wish I found it.
I wouldn't be.
It was either an 8 or 9 because we're missing the yellow boomerang and the any key on
I
the
see.
board. That's it.
Yeah. I know 4 was locked. Was bow lock. That was 4 that you walked in and there was keys and a bow lock, and you're just like, well, cool. Think I'm gonna leave now. Bye.
Yeah, bow was actually my go mode item. I found it deep in 8. It was like there or 6, I believe. I actually bought the bait because there was like a long skinny corridor up 6, and I was like, hey, what if the bow's here? That'd be pretty great.
I bought the meat too. I was gonna go check that and go back and buy the bomb expansion. Just because, and on top of that too, was it 8 that had the heart that was ladder locked?
Probably. I don't remember coming across a heart in 8. But ladder, I found ladder a little bit later than I would have liked, but it was still fairly early on-ish enough to unblock me. It was just keys.
I knew where ladder was the entire time. I just couldn't find a single freaking heart.
Nice.
I was at 3 hearts for the entire game, and I just got my 4th heart.
Oh wow. Yeah, I guess I only found 2 of the take harder potion caves eventually, and that was after I found every dungeon. I knew where everything was. I was kind of looking for a key shop again because I did not note down where they were, and and money wasn't the best, but then I say that, and I had 250 rupees in my pocket the whole time, so I got one of the bomb upgrades. But yeah, I picked up Red Ring early, and I was like, oh wow, this is going to be an easy combat seed. And then the Blue Wizard showed up, and completely blocked us out. I almost died in 7. 7 had, of course, you have to go through Blue Wizard rooms to get to the Triforce. I wish I found that white sword you did, because that would have helped a lot in there. Because I had a wand, and I was like, I'll find a third, take potion or heart cave, so I'll get my potion then. That's what I usually do. And it didn't show up, and I nearly died. And I did die to Ganon once. But Ganon wasn't too hard to find, at least. I didn't have to dig 9 for a change. Usually I'm looking for silvers, which, never happens in these races or anything like that. But found that fairly early, so I was like, yes, do not have to dive all of 9. And 9 was actually, well, yeah, it wasn't too bad at all. Once I got down to the corner where Ganon and Zelda were, I just had to not die.
Right. Yeah, and so the white sword, while nice after getting it, was deep in 6. It was really deep in 6. I spent a lot of time in 6.
Yeah, I bounced out of 6 after I explored a lot of it once. I got the bait, came back, did a few more rooms, saw a Goma blocked potential stair, and I was like, the item could be there, so I'm going to go check 8 for the bow instead. And that was the right play, because the first item I found in 8 eventually was the bow. So straight to 9 for me.
I just kept going past Goma. I was like, nah, man, so what? Goma's there. I don't care. And I just kept looking and looking and looking, and then eventually found the white sword. And that's so, like I said, while it was nice getting it, it really took me a lot of time. I could have probably gone and beat other dungeons and found that bow, and just went through. So
it was buried under keys, which was the story of the seed. You needed keys to do anything.
That's why I was clearing every single room, even though I found all the drops and stuff. It's like, just give me keys. I need them. I'm probably gonna need them for 9, and it was just so bad.
I went a long time without bombs. I kept trying to find a bomb shop or something and get a bomb drop or something, anything, and I couldn't get bomb drops. And then I finally got bombs, and then the stupid Octoroks started dropping bombs for me. Like I'm like, are you kidding me? I was killing you so many times.
Yep, the global swing your way, only
Yeah.
after you don't need them. I had to force a couple times for bombs because I either found a bomb shop early and didn't write it down, or just never found one at all.
I never found one at all. I have a lot of shops marked, and all of them were either key and meat, blue ring and meat, or arrow and shield.
Okay.
So
I think
they were all the same.
yeah, I think the bomb prices were 40, so it wasn't pretty if we found it at all.
Oh
But,
wow.
Even
Yeah.
40 is not that bad considering we had what 109 as our top.
yeah, it wasn't a bad money.
Yeah, and the
issue.
medium was kind of healthy too. It was north of 30, like 36 or 37, something like that.
Yeah, like 39 and 109, and then our low was like 4. So, but yeah, I mean, for my first tournament seed, actually playing in a tournament, I'm not upset by my performance at all. So,
No, and nothing to be ashamed of. You performed very well for your first tournament, and there's nerves and everything. Fury, any questions here?
I mean, I guess I could poke as to what was going on with level 1 Dr. Blue's redig of it, but I think it was probably a tracker thing.
Probably a tracker thing. I thought I didn't have the floor drop item still. I probably did. Were there 2 hearts in there, or what happened?
Yeah.
Recorder in that first room, I think, was
Right.
probably what
You
told
ran
you.
over the
God.
recorder.
Yeah.
And we barely saw it. You ran over it. It happened so fast that we almost missed it too.
And I remember picking it up, going, "Yes, early recorder." I didn't
had
write
to-
down the fact
I
that I
had
did
to
that.
check my inventory because I know it was like, did I just get something? I looked at my inventory. I was like, oh, I got the recorder. Okay, because I was standing right on top of the drop. So
Yeah, in a key star seed, it's not a good idea to forget an item you picked up and go spend like 4 more keys diving a dungeon.
right.
Yeah,
And then I
absolutely.
guess the other thing to note for you was Magical Sword, I think, was one screen left of level 6.
Right. It was one screen right of 6.
I guess you just ran out of things to burn on the overworld, though, so that's why you didn't pick up the Heart Containers, is because you never saw it.
I pretty much plan to never pick up the magical sword, especially if I find the red ring and or the wand, because most of the time I'm fine at that regard, even against Ganon with red ring. I never die against him but then I did. So that's why I forced that fairy, and then I was able to stunlock him fully there, so whatever. I set up the RNG to work in my favor that way.
Yeah, it's just for combat speed, but
Oh yeah.
at that point you had everything, so what's the point in burning that bush?
Yeah, just with the wand and select swap, I feel like 3 damage is enough for most situations, except for 8 blue wizard rooms.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, so we'll kind of close this out. I know, any final thoughts on your first tournament race, on the next round that's coming up, the names that are in this tournament? Any final thoughts here?
Nobody beat me up too bad. I'm probably the newest guy in this tournament, but that's fine. Yeah, I want to thank y'all for doing commentary and putting us on at the last minute there. Y'all put it together really fast, and I'm gonna go back and watch the VOD and see how good it was. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, same here. Looking forward to round 2, and hopefully, knock on wood, that we won't have a seed that's quite so key locked next time. Even if I get just stomped next round, I won't care as long as we don't have that going on.
Absolutely. Hey, and good luck in your next round too, Dr. Blue. It was awesome racing you.
Oh yeah, same to you, Unknown.
All right, so I want to get y'all to, give a round of applause to our owners, Dr. Blue and Unknownavailability. Give them both a follow. They will be playing in this tournament for the next few weeks as we go through the Swiss stages. Fury, any final thoughts on you before we wrap up this first race of the 2022 Zelda Randomizer tournament?
Nope, just off to go race some more Zelda, because I'm addicted.
You are addicted, and you have to go top rope people, which is always fun to watch. So, it's fantastic to have the first race on. If you're interested, I put the link in the chat for the scheduling page, so you can see if and when races are happening, and if they're on Restream. Looks like tomorrow we've got 3 races on the board at the moment. We've got Angel FM versus Dragon Darch. That is going to be at 6 p.m. Eastern. And we've got our own Fury SK going up against Kiglius. That will be happening around 9:30. And then we have JSR versus Dark Falls happening about 2 hours later as we run that at 11 p.m. Eastern. All of those are looking for a restream at this moment. We'll the schedule will be updated as we get restream availability. I want to thank our tracker Kiros for hopping in and putting on this really quickly for us. I want to thank Speed Gaming for also jumping in very quickly and putting this together in almost 15 minutes. So they did a fantastic job getting us up and running. And I want to thank my broadcast partner Fury SK for hopping in the booth and talking about this fantastic first match for our 22 tournament. So, on behalf of everyone in the booth, I've been Eraser, and y'all have a good evening.